had so many students also taking to Twitter, and adults as well. Again, as we said, in Tallahassee, we've also had action there as well. Florida State, in the Capitol here, Florida State Capitol as well. We have students there, survivors that from the Marjory Stoneman Douglas shooting, of course, taking to Tallahassee. And the President Trump as well, will be holding a listening session with survivors of other shootings, not necessarily from Stoneman Douglas here as well, but up in Tallahassee. I'm sorry, up in Washington, D.C. NBC 6 anchor Jackie Nesprawl. She is there and she will have continuing coverage. But again, this is a live look on the right of your screen, Oakland Park. This is Northeast High School, where you see students with signs in hand walking around the perimeter there of their high school, seeking change, wanting to be heard. And on the left, Pembroke Pines, yeah, we can tell you now that they have definitely exited the campus and are crossing the streets there. Students from West Broward High School and the Pembroke Pines area, though we have seen most of the students all morning long walking across and staying for the most part along the perimeter of their schools, of their high schools here in Pembroke Pines. The students have taken their signs, taken their voices, taken their message, and it looks like they have indeed exited their campus. And it definitely looks like they have taken off the perimeter there of their school. Let's take you live now to Tallahassee. As we've been saying, we do have loud voices, not just from the students and the victims, from the faculty and staff as well in Tallahassee right now. Let's listen in on this live stream there.
Thousands of students fearing for their lives. This is not okay. Trapped in a classroom, sharing a feeling of numbness and agony with my peers, our only source of information was what our teachers were telling us and the information that was circulating within the school via group chats. Guys, this is not a drill. 5 people are dead, 20 injured. This was a message in one of my group chats. That is not okay. We received videos from our friends and peers being shot and being shot at, videos that shook us to our cores. Helicopters above us and police sirens ringing in our ears, the sounds of choppers now haunt us and police sirens stalk us. 2 days after the shooting, when I was picking up my medicine from a CVS drive-thru, the cash register drawer receded and made a noise that I swore was a gunshot. I shouldn't have been allowed to make that association. That is not okay. As students, we should not have to fear for our lives. We should not have to run for our lives. We should not have to hear the sound of gunfire on a school campus. We should not have to hear the screams of our peers, of our friends, of our teachers, of our mentors. That is not okay. We are losing sleep. All we can remember are the screams and cries and stampede of feet running for their lives. Some of us are unable to stay awake. All we can do is sleep because when we are awake, we are haunted by the memories of that day, of what happened to us. We can only imagine what could have been avoided if common sense gun control had been implemented after the first mass shooting, as was the case with so many other countries. Schools were once places of learning, of respect, of dignity. They have now become sacrilege. They are now shooting grounds, and this is not okay. So I ask, Congress and Senate, what if it had happened to you or to your children? Would it take you so long to make a difference? Would it take you this long to effect change and create policy and propose laws that could stem the tide of violence? Would it? No more. No more placing nonsensical politics above our lives. No more accepting donations from the NRA, who seem to care more about their right to own a gun than the lives of American children. They protect the Second Amendment, yet the NRA doesn't seem to realize that it was written 241 years ago. During that interval, our guns have changed tremendously, yet our gun laws have not, and that is not okay. The National Rifle Association pushes to preserve our right to bear arms per the Second Amendment, yet what they don't say is that the Second Amendment was written in order to keep and preserve a well-regulated militia. The United States has the most powerful military in the world. There is no need to keep and preserve a well-regulated militia. We live in a first world country that many dream of coming to. They dream of coming here because we serve and protect our citizens, yet at this moment we are not. And lawmakers are slapping us, students, in the face, and this is not okay. I implore you, Congress and Senate, out with partisan politics. Now is not the time to be fighting over whose views are right and wrong. Now is the time for action. I beseech our American lawmakers from Congress and Senate to stop slinging mud across the aisle and come up with a bipartisan solution to an obvious epidemic of gun violence and mass shooting in America. A solution that will save lives. A solution that will prevent another mass shooting like the ones at Columbine, Virginia Tech, Aurora, Sandy Hook Elementary, San Bernardino, Pulse Nightclub, Las Vegas, and most recently, my school, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Now is the time for change. Never again will this happen in our country, to our students, to us. We, the students, will make a difference. Our voices will be heard, and we will not be silenced. So I say, students, stand up for yourselves and stand up for others. We are the future. Let us change the future, and let us do it now. Signed, Dimitri Hoth, Senior, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, 17 years old, survivor.
We have actually one more speaker, with due respect, and then Representative Jacobs and I have a few comments, but let's hear our last speaker.
Good afternoon. My name is Tanzel Phillip. I am 16 years old, and I'm a 10th grader at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. To think, last week at this exact time, I was complaining about not wanting to go to rehearsal after school and trying to think of an excuse to get out of it. That day will be with all of us and all of our parents, all of our teachers, for the rest of our lives. When we saw this stuff on the news, I wept and wondered how anyone could let this happen, how our government could let this happen to men, women, and our children. We don't want to take away your guns. We don't want to get rid of the Second Amendment. We want things to be done to save our lives. We want gun policies that prevent an 18-year-old from killing 17 of our friends. We want mental health tests that won't allow them to purchase these guns. When did politics and money from the NRA become more important than our lives? Our message is simple, and it's never again. To Marion Hammer and to everyone at the NRA and everyone affiliated with the NRA, we are not afraid of you. We will not be silenced by anything that you have to say. We are here, our voices are loud, and we're not stopping until change happens. Never again will this ever happen to any one of my friends. I will never, no one's parents should be put through that ever again. Never again. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, so very much. I think that they have said more than we possibly could. I know that Representative Jacobs has a few thoughts as we move into the afternoon session for meetings.
Thank you, Senator Book. We've had a group of kids that we've scheduled for over 70 different meetings that are taking place here in the Capitol. There's a lot of passion as you...
And you've been listening in to the strongest voices that we've heard. Today makes a week since the tragic shooting here in our community at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. And the students, the survivors, the witnesses to this tragedy made their way up to Tallahassee, giving their testimony, Trina, and wanting change as well.
Yeah, you heard some powerful voices there asking that state legislators listen to them. And they want this to never happen again to their friends, to their fellow students. They want change, and they're demanding it today. You heard from the state senator that there are going to be 70 meetings today, and those students will be dipping in on those meetings, listening, giving their voices, and letting folks know that they want something different from what happened. They don't want another potentially mentally ill person to walk into a school and shoot up the place, and then everyone's standing around grieving and not knowing what to do or say. They are saying something today. They're saying they want their lawmakers to listen to them. And we are looking at schools where students are continuing to walk out today. Of course, we're going to have more right after the Olympics today and all day right here on NBC6. And right now, go to the NBC6 News app for more on this continuing story of the aftermath at the shooting at Parkland.